Hello African gold growers, how are you today? Welcome to a new video of the Money series videos. Today we are going to continue talking about money. Today we are going to talk about inflation and devaluation and its implication in the economy of Africa. What is inflation? What is devaluation? What it happened in the world? What it happened in the African countries? Well, all these things we are going to talk about it in this video. If this is the first time you visit us, welcome to African Gold Growers Academy. In this academy, in this place, in this channel, we are going to share with you powerful ideas, powerful knowledge to help you to start strategic business in Africa with low risk, with low investment. We are going to share with you experiences, business models, knowledge about entrepreneurship, personal development, and more. So don't forget to subscribe, give us a like if you like the video. Give us your comment down below, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and let's start. And remember, we grow gold in Africa.
What is inflation? Inflation is a widespread and sustained increase in the prices of goods and services in the economy. This means that over the time, the same amount of money can buy fewer goods and services than before. Inflation can be caused by several factors, but one of the main ones is the imbalance between the supply and the demands of goods and services. Supply and demand are two fundamental economic forces that interact in the marketplace to determine the prices of goods and services. Supply refers to the amount of goods and services that businesses are willing to sell at a given price, while demand refers to the amount of goods and services that consumers are willing to buy at a given price. When the supply of goods and services is less than the demand, prices tend to rise. This can happen for a number of reasons, such as an increase in the cost of production, a decrease in the productivity, or increased consumer demand. When prices start to rise, it can trigger an inflation spiral, as companies may adjust their prices to compensate for rising costs, which in turn can increase prices even more. But it's important we understand this because at the same goods and services with more demand or more supply can change the prices. It happens also with the money. As we see in the last video, fiat money has not any good physical like gold, silver, etc. as support. So it's only the trust we have in the government. So what's happened if we have a high demand and a low offer, the price rise, okay? But what's happened when we have a lot of supply? A lot of supply, it means something is less useful. We need more units of money to buy the same stuff, the same good or the same service. So here is where the trap of inflation becomes with the fiat money. The governments can print more money when they are using fiat money. They can print and print and print to pay their loans, to try to give money to another poor people or vulnerable people or government investments. So if the government is printing more money, it means we have more money, we have more supply of money, more paper, more coins in the market, and the value of the money decreases. That's exactly what is happening right now in all over the world. For one side, we have inflation by the supply and demand of every good and services in the whole chain of production of every stuffs in the world. But at the same time, we're living at inflation, global inflation, because the high supply of money we are watching right now. We are living in a special US dollars and euro. Now, inflation can be moderate and manageable, but when it accelerates rapidly and out of control, it can become hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is something our brothers and sisters in countries like Zimbabwe knows perfectly. Hyperinflation is an extremely rapid and uncontrollable increase in the prices of goods and services, which can make money almost instantly worth less. Hyperinflation can be devastating to the economy as it can cause a drop in production, an increase in unemployment, and a loss of confidence in the currency and political instability. Hyperinflation is something really easy to arrive if we don't have control of how much money is the central bank printing, but it's really dangerous because the social impact it has. There are several historical examples of hyperinflations, and some of the most prominent include silver coins in Rome, for example. In ancient Rome, silver coins were used as legal tender. However, due to government corruption and mismanagement, the amount of silver in the coins was reduced, causing them to lose value. As a result, the prices of goods and services skyrocketed, leading to inflation and loss of confidence in the Roman currency, and finally, they arrived to the hyperinflation. The social instability, political instability, war came, famine came, and finally, the Roman Empire decreased. Now, another example was actually in Africa. Many of you have listened about the famous king and powerful king Mansa Musa of Mali. Mansa Musa was in the 14th century the emperor of the Mali Empire, brought a large amount of gold with him on the pilgrimage to La Mecca. Returning home, he began spending his gold on the towns he was crossing. Because the high amount of gold coins he was given to the people in every town he was crossing, he caused an inflation. The gold was so common that lost its value, causing a devaluation of the currency and a hyperinflation of the gold. Now, another very powerful example and very sad is the Zimbabwe example, where brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe in the 2000s experimented hyperinflation that was one of the worst in the modern history. Inflation reached over 79%. Now, let's talk about devaluation. Devaluation, on the other hand, is a fall in the value of countries' currencies relative to other currencies. Okay? By one side, we have the value of the currencies versus the goods and services. In devaluation, we have the value of the currencies versus another currencies. Okay? This means that a currency becomes less valuable on the international market, making imported goods and services more expensive and exported goods cheaper. In Africa, devaluation has been a major problem due to the dependence of many African countries on imports of goods and services. Now, how do inflation and devaluation affect the economic development of Africa? Well, inflation and devaluation have important implications for the economic development of Africa. On one hand, inflation can generate uncertainty and mistrust in the markets, which can negatively affect investment and economic growth. In addition, inflation can erode the purchasing power of consumers, which can affect the well-being and quality of life of the population, ending in social instability. On the other hand, devaluation can generate imbalances in the country, trade balances. Since imported goods are more expensive and exported goods are cheaper, this can negatively affect the competitiveness of local companies, as well as the macroeconomic stability of the country. Okay? This is really important to understand because the majority of goods in Africa, around 70 to 80%, depends on the country, are imported goods. And Africa has constantly facing a devaluation of their currencies and a high inflation in their countries. Addressing inflation and devaluation in Africa is a major challenge for economic policy makers in the region. One of the most common measures to address inflation is the implementation of restrictive monetary policies, such as increasing interest rate or reducing the supply of money in circulation. It's also important to address the underlying causes of inflation, such as the lack of economic diversification or dependence on the export of raw materials. Here is where you can become a factor of change in Africa. As African gold growers, we believe creating business can help Africa. Now, what's happened if we start creating business in Africa? For one side, we create business to supply the demand of goods and services in the continent, but also thinking in exporting goods and services. On one side, if we have more supply of goods and services, the prices in the region become lower. So it means are more payable for the people, and especially for the poor people. For other hand, if we think to build business that can export products, goods and services outside of Africa, it means they have to pay us in our own currency. It means we have more value for our currencies. We are making a progress in making more strong our economies. So thinking as African gold growers, we need to think that maybe we don't have control directly from the monetary policies in the region. Maybe we don't have control of the policies, economic policies that are taken in Ethiopia, in Kenya, in Rwanda, in Sudan, in Gambia, in Nigeria, etc. But we have in our hands the possibility to create business that provide to the local market and to the foreign market a supply of a good or service that is in demand. If we create more businesses in the region, we are helping to the economy of Africa, no matter the economic policies.
Well, African gold growers, as we see today, we don't have in our hands the policies, the economical policies in the continent. We don't have in our hands the last decisions of our governments about currency, about money, about economics. So we cannot control for all the inflation or devaluation in the continent, in the region. But it's something we have to have very, very clear, and is we need to focus only in the things that we already have in control. We already have in control the possibility to start businesses. If we provide more services, more goods to the market, we are going to help to the African economy. If we provide powerful companies that provide another countries of goods and services, and we can export our goods and services, we are helping to the African economy. No matter if you are a small entrepreneur, a very, very, very teeny entrepreneur, you are providing services, you are providing goods to the market. It means every service, for example, let's talk about a barbershop. Every service you give, you are helping to decrease the prices of the goods that you need to make this service. You are helping the economy or the local economy to have a more accessible service that is needed in the market already. If you make soaps, for example, if you make shampoo, if you make cosmetics, no matter if you are a very, very teeny factory, maybe you are doing in your house, in your department, no matter that, but you are helping to the local economy. Because by one side, you are providing a good that is in demand, but by the other hand, you are providing something in more supply, so you are helping to decrease the prices in the market. You are helping the African economies that need to import more goods and services. Think on that. We don't have control, we don't have in our hands the possibility of change every decision in the economic policies. But we have in our hands the big power, the powerful power to take a decision and start bringing enterprises in Africa. Start providing to the market goods and services. To To me, this is the big message I want to share with you. We are African gold growers because we believe we can literally grow gold in Africa. We're in the most rich region in the world. We're in the richest region in the world with major quantity of natural resources, with a major quantity of people, with a major quantity of creative people. Any other country, any other region, and look, I live in Latin America. Here is also a lot of problems, a lot of economical issues. But the people living here, the people living in Asia, don't have the creativity the Africans have. No, sir. The power we have in our hands is amazing. And that's why many people, many powerful people in the world are trying to conquest Africa and trying to put social instability in Africa and trying to decrease our dignity in Africa, because they don't understand the power we have in our hands. They understand that if we rise up, we are going to dominate the world. We are starting dominating the world. We will dominate the world. But guess what? We can only do together. We can only if you help us. We can only do if you start a small, no matter the size, a small business in Africa. If you detect a need in your market, in your neighborhood, put an example, maybe in your neighborhood is needed a barbershop, maybe is needed cheaper cosmetics for women, maybe is needed, I don't know how many things are needed in Africa. You can detect only a small need and provide a service or enterprise that manufacture these goods. And the majority of cases is very easy in Africa. It's the only thing we have in our hands. There are another possibilities, but this is the most powerful in my perspective, and in the many Africans' perspective, in many brothers and sisters, we are realizing this is the best solution. So here's when I invite you to take this deal in your hands, decide, and start something small. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Start small, dream big. This is the secret to start successful business in Africa with low risk, with low investment. In the next video, I hope you started something and you leave me in the comments. Haile, I started a small project. You will be very, very happy. I will be very, 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 very happy to know that. And I will be, if you write me, if you send me a message, I will personally help you. We can have maybe a meeting online, and if I can help you in something, I will be very, very happy to support you. Okay? So if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give us your comment, like this video, share with your friends, share this video with more brothers and sisters in the continent that have the spirit of African gold growers. Okay? Activating the bell notification, subscribe to the channel. It helped me so much. You don't have idea how much every like, every comment, every time you subscribe don't take you nothing, but help me so much. So see you in the next video, African gold growers, and remember, we grow gold in Africa. Bye bye.